I mean, maybe they're jealous that he's still whooping butt with only one ball. That's a clown question.
Bob Costas is one handsome man. I do not pick my team based on the colors that they wear or how those colors look with my skin tone. I mean, obviously I would not be a Broncos fan because I look terrible in orange.
We got it. We suck. No thank you. So, let's stop being so melodramatic.
Have you ever pitched a perfect game?
What are sports if they're not, like, intensely personal?
Welcome to the new format. As you can see, I did the first 30 days of the show, ended up posting 21 videos, and now we revamped it to make it something that's easy to watch for you and easy to produce for me. So expect to see a couple of new videos a week, but definitely not once a day. I do want to give a big shout out to my peeps back home in Wyoming, hey, and Colorado. I know that area has been ravaged by wildfires, and my heart goes out to everybody who has lost their home or animals or property. My heart goes out to the firefighters, particularly in places where the fire departments are only manned by volunteer firefighters. So these are people that have regular jobs and regular lives outside of being firefighters and are being asked to risk their lives to help others. On a sports-related note, the Denver Broncos actually donated $50,000 to help the victims of the Colorado wildfires. So props to the Denver Broncos for helping out their peeps. So when I told Costas 2.0 about the story I'm about to tell you about, he said, "Are you going to blog about it?" And I thought, well, I can't think of a better story for me to blog about. He said, well, try not to cry. Sportscasters aren't supposed to cry. So I'm going to try my hardest. I remember when I was a teenager and my dad used to tear up at really patriotic moments like the national anthem being played at sporting events and whatnot, and I just completely and totally didn't understand. But I don't know if it's because I'm a vet or because I'm just getting old and I'm emotional that sometimes patriotic stories make me tear up. I kind of hope it makes you guys tear up because it's a pretty amazing story. Bernard James is a 27-year-old Air Force vet who also happens to have been the 33rd pick in the NBA draft last week. He served 6 years in security forces, deployed 3 times to Qatar, Kuwait, and Iraq, joined the Air Force when he was 17 years old. Now here's where it gets even cooler. Bernard actually didn't even play basketball because he says he didn't get tall until he was in 9th grade. So he gets to his first duty assignment at Beale, and his supervisor says, "Do you play intramural basketball?" And James says, "No." And he says, "Well, you do now." So he didn't play in high school. He started learning how to play with a team, ended up playing on the All-Air Force team. After serving his 6 years of his enlistment, went to junior college, played basketball in junior college, and then got a scholarship to Florida State University. Now, the other cool thing about this story is he was drafted at 27 years old, older than Dikembe Mutombo when he was drafted. I think it's an inspiration to those of us who serve in the military, who have served, and then have to get out, and we're like, oh my gosh, am I going to be too old to start a new career? Are people going to look down on me because I am older or because I served in the military? So to have somebody who's 27 years old and starting what could be a really amazing career in the NBA is pretty cool. But the coolest part of this story is this right here.
This might be the best moment of the draft as Bernard James, as you see his bio blast, is getting a standing ovation here in the Prudential Center. Listen to this from the crowd.
Now do you see why Costas 2.0 told me not to cry? I gotta admit, I've teared up a couple times watching that clip. I love how supportive the crowd is of him, and I love how gracious and humble he is. So a new segment I have for you is Lou the Stats Dog Stat of the Week. So you may or may not have heard, Erin Andrews is leaving ESPN. She's going to Fox Sports, presumably to do something with college football. Here's the stat that may surprise you. Erin Andrews and me, the same age. Her dad is also an Emmy Award-winning journalist. Further proof that being hot and well-connected are key pillars to success, which is slightly depressing until I realized that means ESPN has an open position as an anchor. So tell your friends tweet ESPN at ESPN that they should talk to the sports lady. In today's edition of Whoa Man Up, I just want to put my draft robot on notice. We are 10 Sundays away from the kickoff of the NFL season. So I need my draft robot to be doing some research, because this is my strategy, as it has been since I've been playing fantasy football about 5 years ago. And I should note that I've been to the playoffs in the last 3 years, and I was my fantasy football champion 2 years ago. Every year I use the draft robot. The 1 year I didn't make the playoffs. Clearly the draft robot is smarter than me. Lots of people do tons and tons of research about what fantasy players they should pick up and which ones they shouldn't, and blah, blah, blah. And then what happens is 2 weeks into the season, Adrian Peterson blows out his knee and you're screwed. So I'm telling you, draft robot, I need you to whoa man up, because I'm coming for you in 10 weeks. I'm going to knock on your door and I need you to answer.